In the silent space between your thoughts lies a field of infinite possibility. This field is not separate from you, it is you. Every dream you have ever imagined, every answer you have ever sought, already exists in this boundless realm of pure potentiality. The question is not whether the universe can give you what you want, but whether you can align yourself with the source of all creation. When you awaken to this truth, you stop chasing outcomes and start embodying them. Today, I will share how to tap into this infinite source and manifest the highest expression of yourself. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of your true self. Beneath the constant chatter of the mind, beneath the whirl of thoughts, plans, and worries, there is a dimension of stillness that is eternal. It is not created by you, it simply is. Yet most of us spend our lives so absorbed in the noise that we forget it exists. We mistake the turbulence of our thoughts for who we are, and in doing so we boundless reservoir from the boundless reservoir of potential that lies within. When you begin to taste silence, not as a concept, but as a living experience, you begin to notice that it has a texture, a depth, and a profound intelligence. This silence is not empty, it is vibrant. It is the field in which all possibilities are born. It is the fertile soil where the seeds of intention germinate and grow. But to connect with it, we must be willing to turn away from the constant pull of distraction. We must be willing to become still enough to hear the whisper of our own soul. This is why practices like meditation, conscious breathing, or simply sitting under a tree without an agenda are not luxuries. They are lifelines. In silence, you are no longer reacting to life, you are creating from the deepest part of yourself. Your nervous system begins to relax, your mind begins to unclench, and you step into a state where inspiration comes not as a forced effort, but as a gentle arrival. It is in this space that you remember you are not separate from the universe, but an expression of it. Think of a lake on a windy day. Its surface is disturbed, and you cannot see the depths below. But when the wind stops and the water becomes still, the reflection is clear, and the hidden world beneath reveals itself. Your mind works the same way. In the agitation of constant thought, the truth of who you are is obscured. In stillness, the reflection is pure, and your awareness expands. The modern world conditions us to seek fulfillment in activity, to measure our worth by productivity, to fill every moment with doing. Yet the paradox is that the most powerful doing comes from a place of non-doing. When you root yourself in silence, your actions are no longer driven by fear, urgency, or scarcity. They arise from clarity, from purpose, from an intuitive knowing that does not need to be justified or explained. In silence, you also begin to sense the interconnectedness of all things. You feel the subtle pulse of life in your own body, and you recognize it as the same pulse in the trees, the oceans, the stars. This recognition dissolves the illusion of separation. It shifts your desires from those that serve only the ego to those that serve the whole. And when your desires align with the flow of life, manifestation becomes effortless. But perhaps the greatest gift of silence is that it reveals to you that you are already complete. You do not need to become more, have more, or prove more in order to be worthy. In the stillness, you realize you are already enough. From that place of wholeness, your intentions are no longer attempts to fill a void. They are expressions of your natural abundance. This is why I invite you to cultivate moments of silence every single day, even if they are brief. It may be as simple as closing your eyes for a few breaths before a meeting, walking alone without your phone, or sitting in your room at dawn, listening to the world awaken. These moments are not escapes from life. They are the gateways into life's deepest reality. You do not wait for the world to become quiet before you enter stillness. The world will always have its noise. Instead, learn to carry the sun's silence within you, so that even in the midst of chaos, you remain anchored in the infinite. In this way, you become the calm in the storm, and from that calm, you can create, love, and live with a sense of purpose that no external circumstance can shake. In the silence, you meet yourself. In the silence, you meet the infinite. And when you truly meet the infinite, you understand that nothing is impossible. When we look closely at the way we live, we often find that much of our energy is spent labeling and categorizing every experience. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. We have been conditioned to believe that such judgments help us navigate life, but in reality, they often narrow the lens through which we see the world. Every time we judge, we create a boundary, a limit. And where there is a limit, there can be no true connection to the infinite. The field of pure potentiality does not operate in categories. It does not divide experience into favorable or unfavorable. It simply is, boundless, neutral, and open. When we choose to live in constant judgment, we are stepping out of alignment with this field. We create separation not only from others, but from the very source that is trying to guide us toward our highest possibilities. Consider the moments in life when something you initially perceived as bad turned out to be the very event that led you to growth, healing, or a new opportunity. At the time, your mind resisted it. It labeled it as wrong, painful, or unfair. But in hindsight, you saw how it was part of a greater design. Judgment blinded you in that moment. Acceptance would have kept you open. Acceptance is not passive resignation. It is the deep recognition that each moment is exactly as it needs to be for the unfolding of your journey. It is trusting that life's intelligence is infinitely wiser than our limited perspective. When we accept without judgment, we create space for life to move through us without obstruction. This space is where creativity flourishes, where solutions arise, and where our energy can be used for transformation rather than resistance. To practice this, begin to notice the instant you label an experience. Observe the mind as it rushes to categorize something as pleasant or unpleasant. Instead of attaching to that judgment, simply acknowledge the moment for what it is, a piece of the whole. You may find that this small shift instantly changes the way you feel without the mental labels. The present moment becomes more spacious, more alive. When we let go of judgment, relationships transform. We stop trying to fit people into the molds we have created for them. We start to see them as they are, expressions of the same source that flows through us. We begin to listen more deeply, to communicate more openly, and to love more fully, because we are no longer filtering every interaction through layers of expectation and opinion. The same applies to the way we see ourselves. Many of us live in constant self-judgment, evaluating our worth based on past mistakes or imagined shortcomings. This self-criticism disconnects us from our inner power. When we release these judgments, we reconnect with our essential nature, which is whole, complete, and limitless. In that state, we naturally align with the creative intelligence of the universe. Life does not need our constant interpretation to be meaningful. It is already meaningful in its raw, unfiltered form. When you surrender the need to label every moment, you begin to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. You notice the way sunlight falls through the trees, the subtle kindness in a stranger's eyes, the perfection of a quiet breath. These are glimpses of the infinite, reminding you that you are part of something vast and interconnected. The practice of non-judgment is not about suppressing your thoughts or pretending you don't have preferences. It is about loosening the grip of those preferences so they no longer control your state of being. You may still notice that you enjoy certain things more than others, but you no longer resist what is. You learn to hold each moment lightly, allowing it to pass through you without clinging or pushing away. And here's the paradox. The more you let go of judgment, the more life tends to align with your deepest desires. This is because you are no longer resisting the flow of energy. You are no longer saying no to what is. Instead, you are saying yes to life as it unfolds. And in that yes, you enter into harmony with the forces that create worlds. Living without judgment is a daily practice, and there will be times you forget. That is not failure. It is simply another opportunity to return. The moment you catch yourself labeling, you can release it and come back to presence. Each time you do, you strengthen your connection to the field of pure potentiality where the possibilities for your life are limitless. When you choose acceptance over judgment, you step into the truth of who you are, not a collection of opinions and preferences, but an expression of infinite consciousness itself. In that space, everything you seek is already within you, waiting to be realized. When we talk about manifesting from the field of pure potentiality, there is often a misconception that it is about bending the universe to our personal will, that we must force reality to fit into a shape we have decided upon. But in truth, manifestation is not an act of domination. It is an act of alignment. Alignment with the intelligence that orchestrates the movement of galaxies, the blossoming of flowers, the beating of your heart. This intelligence is not something outside of you. It is your very essence. When your intention rises from the deepest part of your being, from that place where your spirit resides, the universe responds, not as an external benefactor, but as your own extended self. We have all experienced moments where we have wanted something so desperately, we have chased it, grasped at it, tried to manipulate the circumstances to make it happen. Sometimes we succeed, but often the outcome feels empty or short-lived. That is because intention without alignment is like planting seeds in barren soil. You may plant with great effort, but the conditions do not allow the seed to grow. True manifestation begins when your intention is nourished by the fertile soil of awareness, love, and connection to the whole. The question you must ask yourself is not simply, what do I want? But, from where in me does this desire arise? If it comes from fear, from lack, from a sense of incompleteness, it is not in harmony with the field of pure potentiality. Such desires are fragile, bound by ego's constant shifting. But when your intention emerges from the quiet certainty of your spirit, it carries the energy of creation itself. That is the kind of desire the universe recognizes as its own impulse, because it is born from the same intelligence that gives life to all things. Imagine for a moment that the universe is like a great river. You can struggle against its current, exhausting yourself trying to swim upstream toward the picture you hold in your mind, or you can learn to float, to trust the current, to merge your movement with its flow. When your intention aligns with that flow, the effort falls away. What you seek comes not through force, but through grace. And grace always feels effortless, even when the world may perceive it as extraordinary. There is a subtle art in setting intentions from this place of alignment. It begins with clarity, being absolutely clear on the essence of what you wish to bring forth, not in the rigid details of how it must arrive. You might wish for love, for abundance, for healing, for creative expression, but rather than dictating the exact shape these things must take, you open to the infinite ways in which they can manifest. You hold the intention gently, without grasping. You place it like a seed in the soil of your awareness, and then you trust the intelligence of life to nurture it into being. Trust does not mean passivity. It means participating fully in the unfolding of life, while knowing that you are not the sole author of its outcomes. You take inspired action, action that emerges naturally from the alignment between your spirit and the universal field. These actions feel different from actions born of desperation. They carry a lightness, a certainty, a joy, even when they require effort. They do not drain you, because they are an extension of the same energy that sustains the stars and the seasons. When you begin to live in this way, you find that synchronicities become more frequent. Doors open without you knocking. The right people appear at the right time. What once seemed like coincidence begins to feel like an intricate dance between your inner world and the outer world, choreographed by the same intelligence. You begin to realize that manifestation is not about making something happen in the future. It is about recognizing and embodying the reality of it now. In that embodiment, you become magnetic to the form it will take. And this is why alignment is not something you do once. It is a continual practice. You return to stillness again and again. Reconnect with your essence, refine your intentions, and release attachment to outcomes. Each time you do, you remove another layer of resistance. Each time you do, you allow more of the universe's infinite possibilities to express themselves through you. When your desires arise from your highest self, you will never again need to ask whether the universe supports you. You will know with unshakable certainty that the universe is not something that supports you. It is you, expressing itself in infinite forms. Everything you are seeking is already seeking you.